The Camp4SB project reaches out to diverse target groups including decision makers, farmers, researchers and scientists.
The Camp4SB aims to address the climate change-related challenges shared by all Central Asian countries like droughts and floods.
At the World Bank, we're striving to incorporate climate change adaptation into all our activities. Central Asia stands out as the continent's most vulnerable region to climate change. Over the past century, the atmosphere temperatures here have risen by an average of 1 degree. Soil erosion, desertification, melting glaciers, and other climate change impacts can be devastating for ecosystems, national economies, and millions of people. In the last 60 years, similar to its Central Asian neighbors, the glaciers in Kazakhstan have been shrinking rather rapidly at an average rate of about 0.7–0.8% per year in terms of area and around 1% per year in terms of volume. If this trend continues in the future, then the overwhelming majority of glaciers in the outlying ranges of the Pamir, Tian Shan, Gisar Alai and Altai mountains may disappear as early as by the end of this century. In the course of the past several decades, the volume of ice in Tajikistan's mountains has dropped by as much as 30%, affecting the runoff of the Central Asia's main rivers, the Sirdarya and Amudarya, as well as their tributaries. In Kyrgyzstan, ice melting has been disrupting agricultural cycles, as well as causing destructive mudslides, spring floods, and summer droughts. Along with the intensifying climatic changes, the local communities are still reeling from the consequences of the Aral Sea catastrophe. The Aral Sea degradation and the associated climate change have triggered large-scale desertification. A new desert, the Aral Kums, has emerged in the place of the dried-up seabed. Its area exceeds 5.5 million hectares. It is a salt desert emitting over 100 million tons of salt dust into the atmosphere every year. The countries of the region should join their efforts searching for environmental solutions and adapting to climate change. Most importantly, the project enables countries to resolve the issues associated with data sharing, for instance, hydrological data and climate research findings. Since 2016, the Climate Adaptation and Mitigation Program for Aral Sea Basin has been assisting Central Asian states in securing their regional access to climate change information services and knowledge.
The project has two main objectives. 1. Improve regional access to climate knowledge. 2. Attract foreign investment into the climate sector and build expert capacities in the region.
The project comprises a regional and national components. The regional component includes the establishment of the Climate Information Platform, upgrading of climate monitoring systems, development of methodologies, approaches and tools, as well as capacity-building efforts across the region, all focusing on climate change. The national components are implemented by the stakeholder countries undertaking climate investment and capacity-building actions in their respective jurisdictions. National components include loans allowing companies and individuals to invest in activities to bring down GHG emissions, as well as helping these companies and individuals to adapt to climate change. The soft loan that Akmaljon Holekberdiyev from Tajikistan had received allowed his family to expand their greenhouse flower-growing business. Greenhouses make it possible to save up on irrigation water and expand the flowering cycle. We were awarded the loan to install heaters in our greenhouses. Now they are heated. In the past, before joining the project, we used to lose 80,000 flowers a year. But this year, after launching the upgraded greenhouses, our losses have dropped manifold. This greenhouse farm in the town of Navoiy, Uzbekistan, was built under another soft sub-loan and has been already producing 4 tons of vegetables a week. 18 people got jobs. Our company has received the 500,000 loan to build a state-of-the-art 2-hectare greenhouse using water and energy-efficient solutions. Currently, we're growing tomatoes and cucumbers based on drip irrigation. Environmental lending in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan has allowed creating around 20,000 new jobs, nearly half of them occupied by women. In this part of the world, farming relies heavily on irrigation because of the local dry climate. It's important to learn reduce water consumption while still producing the same amount of food. Nearly 800 farmers, entrepreneurs and experts in Central Asia underwent trainings on energy and water-efficient technologies under the project. The training's purpose is to teach people to adapt to climate change. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, the training also aims to reduce the likelihood of climate change itself by teaching people to use renewable energy like solar, wind and hydro. In addition to conventional lectures, the trainings include hands-on sessions. Villagers are demonstrated how to build devices which will benefit their everyday life and allow saving natural resources at the same time. We built a solar barrel for heating water and a dryer. It turned out to be not difficult at all. The dryer will come especially handy during harvesting. A lot of apples remain on the ground and rot away. The installation is well designed. No flies can get inside, and you can also use it to dry curd, cheese and meat.
Another key project achievement is the quality and accuracy of forecasting, enhancing planning and decision-making in the agricultural and water sectors, as well as food security of Central Asian countries. So far, the project has allowed adopting and integrating 6 latest methodologies and tools for forecasting meteorological, agrometeorological and hydrometeorological parameters into the daily operations of the national hydrometeorological agencies in target countries.
The training aimed to address real-world issues. The SWIM model, for instance, helps forecasting the scale of floods. The DSAT model allows calculating grain yields and the impact of various factors on them. The ModSnow tool facilitates estimating the snow cover. We can see the spatial snow cover dynamics now. In other words, at the very onset of the hydrological year, we're now able to evaluate the increase of snow cover as well as its decrease during the spring snowmelt period. In the course of the 4 years of the Camp 4 ASB project, 165 specialists of Central Asian hydrometeorological centers underwent training.
Now we can make river forecasts 3 to 7 days in advance. Early forecasting makes a real difference. Our task is to issue a warning several days prior to an event so that all the services concerned, like the emergency committee, other agencies and Akimats, are able to respond, have enough time to take measures, evacuate or reinforce target installations as necessary.
The trainings have an obvious applied purpose, which the town of Atbasar in northern Kazakhstan is well aware of. It used to be difficult to get things ready for spring floods here in the past, as the water level could rise several meters in a matter of hours. Not anymore, as weather has become predictable. I would just say that it has definitely proven its effectiveness. This year, we have already forecasted the excess inflows along the Zhabai River, on other rivers as well, like the Uluton, and prevent the associated flooding, thus minimizing the damage. In 2017, the Zhabai River swept away dozens of homes along its course. Nearly 1,000 people were evacuated. Now, the forecasting tools are applied to reduce damage from natural disasters.
Our trainings focused on access to climate data and hydrological modeling, which is more complicated than purely statistical models that had been used for short-term forecasting until now.
Within the framework of the Camp 4 ASB project, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan have upgraded their weather and climate monitoring systems.
The World Bank via Camp4 ASB has assisted us in upgrading our network of meteorological stations, which is now capable of transmitting their data in real time. What does it give us? First and utmost, it will improve the quality of forecasts, enhance the monitoring data itself, and will help meeting the needs of information consumers more quickly.
In 2020, mobile environmental laboratories and automatic weather stations were purchased for Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. While with manual observation, we get 8 weather parameters a day, and then we can make weather forecasts with all of those parameters combined. The automation can produce 6 parameters just within an hour. The new equipment, 2 mobile labs, and 50 weather stations are already operating in Uzbekistan. The equipment set allows detecting ozone, methane, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxide, severe urban environmental pollutants in the air. This is a dust meter. It is a powerful device to measure ultra-weighted particles. This field of ecology has emerged quite recently. The new automated systems allowed upgrading the entire network of meteorological stations of Uzhydromet. Whereas previously our staff had to physically inspect the instruments every 3 hours and record the readings manually, now it's all done automatically. Every 10 minutes, the gauges transmit data to the single data registry, the data logger, and we can see them on our computer. Then the data undergoes processing and gets transmitted to the Joint Data Center in Tashkent. The launch of the Central Asia Climate Information Platform became one of the Camp4 ASB landmark events. CASIP is a one-stop climate information portal for the whole Central Asian region. It offers access to comprehensive up-to-date regional and national-level data on climate change and various interactive tools for data visualization and interpretation. The platform features all the outputs, knowledge, and information generated within the framework of the Camp4 ASB project. These are all original knowledge products appraised and adapted to the needs of the Central Asian region. In addition, the platform serves as an institutional memory repository for the knowledge generated by various projects in the region. Interactive services will aid researchers, climatologists, ecologists, experts, and educators in creating maps, applying analytical tools, and undergoing e-training. In its turn, this will subsequently facilitate good decision-making. This information portal is the only one in Central Asia offering free information on climate change adaptation, application of new technologies, rational use of land and water resources. You are probably aware that the sources of many transboundary rivers are located in the mountains, and they pass through riparian countries. There is a permanent shortage of information on snow accumulation and precipitation, so it's hard to predict river water content. CASIP makes this data available to all the countries concerned, so all of them can get reliable information. CARIC has been actively involved in initiating and supporting regional dialogues on climate change. One of the dialogue platforms, bringing together the representatives of the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and parliaments of Central Asian countries, has been successfully operating for some time already. This platform intends to foster regional dialogue on the most recent decisions associated with the Paris Agreement and preparing the Central Asian countries for the 26th Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. This platform renders special attention to developing and enhancing national environmental legal frameworks, in particular the drafting of environmental codes in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. CARIC has been offering practical targeted assistance to the countries concerned. CARIC has also launched the process of forging the regional vision of Central Asian countries for the upcoming 26th Conference of the Parties to the UNFCCC. The voice of the region as a whole, namely country initiatives, progress and needs, should receive due attention within international climate negotiations. National and international development partners have expressed their continued interest in contributing to and supporting this dialogue to exchange information and foster regional cooperation. During the 4 years of CAMP4SB project implementation in Central Asia, thousands of people gained access to climate change information services and knowledge, and likewise got corresponding training. Hundreds of farmers and representatives of business communities mastered financing and introduced adaptation agricultural practices. The systems of meteorological monitoring and forecasting in Tajikistan and Uzbekistan underwent upgrading. Regional multi-sector dialogue platforms on climate were launched and are currently operating. Practice shows that adapting to climate change, as well as mitigating its impacts, are both realistic tasks under the condition of robust cooperation regionally and joint action locally.